Well, I'm here with Kath Hubbock, who is part of the church at Albany Road and is responsible for initiating Two's Company. And I just wanted to ask her how it's going, what it's about, and what are our hopes for it. So, Kath, welcome. It's really nice to have you with us in this video. And tell us a bit about Two's Company. First of all, what is it?
Two's Company is a project that's come from another organisation called Linking Lives. I think Linking Lives UK. And Linking Lives UK have set about to try and help people overcome loneliness. And they started that by doing sort of face-to-face interactions with people, popping in for coffee to say hi, and just allowing people to have somebody within their lives. Statistics show that there are lots and lots of lonely people out there, and quite often we assume that they're old, but actually what the project has shown is actually that anyone can be lonely no matter what age. So as they were setting up this project, COVID struck. So suddenly we couldn't, or the Linking Lives couldn't interact in the same way. They couldn't go into people's homes, or they couldn't meet outdoors or in other places. So they've come up with this project called Two's Company, which is a telephone befriending service, which is really quite exciting, because it means we can sort of link with people within the comfort and safety of their own homes.
Okay, that's fantastic. And so why as a church have we decided to not go straight for Linking Lives? Why have we decided to start with Two's Company?
Two's Company is something we can set off and start straight away. We're not in a position at the moment to be going into people's houses with the current lockdown rules and regulations in place. And the one thing that we want to do is to make sure that we keep ourselves safe and those who join in with the project safe. But during lockdown, we were talking as a church, and we've kept in touch with each other really well, haven't we? And I think it was out of that when we were introduced to the project, that something within me felt that, you know what, this is something that we could do, is to be that point of contact in people's lives where they know that they can have they can look forward to a time when they know they're going to speak to somebody who has an interest in them, and to speak to somebody who knows that they can be there for a level of sort of, I want to say support, but just to help overcome the loneliness that a lot of people are facing at the moment. So it seemed ideal that, you know, whilst we were locked in, that we could begin to unlock something within people, and that's to sort of unlock that feeling of loneliness.
Okay, fantastic. And so, what stage are we at? What stage is the church at in terms of putting this into into practice? Where have we got to?
Yeah, we're moving along quite nicely now, actually. Peter, our community coordinator, and I underwent the volunteer training and the coordinator training back in November. And that was absolutely fantastic. We've started to recruit people to be befrienders, and we've already held our first training session for that just a couple of weeks ago, and that was really exciting. And we're now in the process of waiting for the return of the volunteer registration forms. So they're due to be coming in at any point. And we're also now at the point where we've identified certain groups of people that we were hoping to invite to sort of see if they wanted to be part of the project as our link friends. So that's where we're at, and hopefully now within a very short period of time, we'll look to start matching people. And the beauty about it is that, you know, we're looking to match people with similar interests and likes and dislikes, but also just to be there for enough room for other likes and dislikes to grow and flourish as well. So we're not going to throw people in with, you know, others that sort of there's no natural match there.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So how many are on team? I mean, how many have sort of expressed interest and are volunteers?
At the moment we've had 9 undergo the training.
Okay.
And we have about 3 or 4 more people who have expressed an interest, and we will be looking to set up a training session for them. I mean, the training is probably about an hour and a half. It's very accessible. It's just very well put together.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll put the link in the description below, so people can actually have a look for themselves. Looking forward, I mean, obviously we haven't really started yet, so we have no idea how it's going to go, and that's always the sort of scary bit of things like this, isn't it? But what are your hopes and aspirations as you're responsible for sort of pastoral care in the life of the church? What are your hopes for it? What are we? What's its intent where that's concerned?
I think my biggest hope is that we can help people, first of all, feel loved, to feel included, and to feel very much part of us. Even if their only link with us as a church is through Two's Company. But one of the big things that I'm passionate about is that by interacting with people, we can hopefully prevent some of the major pastoral crises that sometimes happen. So the beauty of Two's Company is that those who ring our link friends keep a log of the phone calls that are made, not in detail, because obviously that would become very, very sort of time consuming.
Yeah.
But just to pick up on sort of mood and situations, and if there are any worries or concerns, so they can then signpost people to us, or to share concerns to us as coordinators, so that we can look to put practical help in before it gets to the point where the practical help that's needed should have arrived last week instead of.
Okay.
So that excites me, to be able to sort of also signpost people to areas of other help. There's certain things as a coordinator I couldn't do, but to know that there are people that I can signpost to, whether that's social services, whether that's the council, whether it's to the local GP, whether it's to Pete as a community coordinator, whether it's to you as a pastor, so that we can help people much sooner than perhaps that we've been able to do in the past. So that's one thing. The other thing then is, if we identify groups of people where there may be a need, that we say, for example, that we've got some, I don't want to stereotype by gender, so say we've got some people interested in sort of craft and sort of knitting, they spend their days knitting and crocheting or painting and what have you, is if we get a group of people that perhaps we can link them once this situation is over, that they can meet in person. If we've got a group of people who enjoy going out for a pint, are we able to meet that need by having a group that can just join together socially? And so it's not just one person they're interacting with, they can then interact with others. So it's looking to meet that need of loneliness that goes beyond the phone call. I think that's, for me, where I'm looking. That's what excites me.
So you're looking at it as a sort of starting point for something that we hope will blossom out,
yes.
and in some ways, I guess, revolutionize the way we do pastoral care and extend it out into the community. And that does sound really exciting, I must admit, and I'm sure others would benefit from hearing what you have to say with regard to that. I'm interested that Linking Lives and Two's Company actually provide the training, and they provide the support, etc., that helps to get you started. And of course, that's really helpful, isn't it? Particularly if you're a small church and you have limited resource.
Yeah.
To know that they're there as a backstop is really helpful. So that's great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, there are 2 forms of exactly the same. I mean, when Pete and I did the training, we used the PowerPoint that Two's Company provided. but also interestingly, I mean, that's fine for me. I mean, I've got a background in being able to lead and communicate like that, as has Pete. But for those smaller churches or churches who don't have people with a gifting to do that, they've recorded a training, so there's that instant resource there. So even if people couldn't attend a bigger group training, there is something that they can be sent, so they can have undergone the training. And I think the other amazing thing for us is the fact that those who are taking part, our volunteers, it's a way of us being able to see what giftings they have, and if we, but people aren't committed for years and years and years and just end up doing pastoral care because that's what they've always done.
Right.
I mean, there's a place for that. There are those who have done it for years and years, have done it really well. But, I'm very conscious that, we want to give people the opportunity to say, do you know what? I don't think this is where God's calling me. But then we're able to encourage them to look to see what God has for them, because God's got something for everything. I'll say that again. God's got something for everyone. And sometimes we just need to explore that, a bit deeper. So I think for us, making sure that we've got these structures in place where we can support both those who are volunteers and our link friends is hugely, important. And, we're as committed to our volunteers as we are to our link friends, and giving them all the support, love, prayer and encouragement that they would need.
Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. Thanks ever such a lot for giving us a bit of an explanation and a bit of the background. I'm sure that will help others as they look to get a bit of a glimpse and an insight and start thinking about the opportunities that present themselves to them and what they might do to respond. The thing that struck me when you mentioned it first to me was what a simple concept that is, but with huge implications. And I think one of the things that probably excites me is the thought that some of those people who will be recipients of this service may in due course turn around and become those who offer this service, and that strikes me as really quite exciting. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll do an update in the weeks and months that lie ahead. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. I understand that we're the first church in Wales to be taking part in TWS Company. That was the case when we first joined. And I think my hope and my prayer is that we can help and encourage other churches to
absolutely
to take a look into it at the very least.
I'm a great believer in not keeping a good idea to yourself. If you can share it and it enables somebody else to do something, then that's got to be really useful. So thanks for that. That's great.
You're welcome.